Hello, this is a nice portable 110 volt 140 amp it's rated at MIG machine, and pretty easy setup. Uses the uses the small size click connectors, which is fine, nothing wrong with them. You leave that hooked up to your gun. Pretty typical MIG gun. Gas is coming out here. Replaceable tips. And there's some consumables in the box. Gas shield. Pushes on trigger. These are DC inverters, and a DC inverter machine will also weld with electrode positive or electrode negative. This is a decent rod holder. And I actually use one of my inverter machines to stick weld quite frequently. When you're outside, you're doing kind of crappier welds on junkier or rusted material, good hot stick 7018 or 6013 is much easier to deal with. But on a I can reach around to the on button. On these inverter machines, on MIGs, the fan runs all the time, so sorry it's a little bit harder to hear me. The first thing you're going to do is make sure it's on MIG. When you get your wires in, you can run the motor and cold feed it till it gets out the tip. This button changes. Now it's in stick mode, and these are amps over here that you're changing, and it should go up to 80 on your 110 volts. You can also do lift TIG if you get a TIG torch that's set up that way. And lift TIG just means you're going to strike the arc against the material and then pull back and TIG weld. You can look at all this stuff online, but we're looking at TIG right now, or excuse me, at MIG right now. What I'm adjusting right here is the speed, wire speed, and over here are the volts. And something I should point out that's really cool about these inverter machines, it used to be you'd have to spend thousands of dollars to get a machine that didn't click in between settings, let alone had actual values projected. So if you look at a Miller machine or a Lincoln machine, you've got to spend a lot of money to get this basic functionality, which I like. I want to see what I'm doing. Come back over here. We have some replacement consumables, tips, and drive wheels, and the instructions explain how the drive wheels work for which wire. Actually, the instructions are pretty good on this. If you open up the lid, this gives you all the parameters that you'll need for this thickness and what you're welding, mild steel with solid wires. You're going to use MIG gas, which is 70%, 75 argon, 25 CO2, and you're running electrode positive. And so here's for each one the size of the wire. I run 030 a lot, so it's not recommended for 24 gauge, but I run 030 on 18 gauge all the time. 2.8 and 15 voltage is what it recommends. Then you dial it down from there. And again, there's tons of material on the internet about how to weld This will take the small 2-pound and the larger 10-pound reels. I really don't like machines that'll only take the small reels. Tensioning knob here for your drive. The wire goes through here. The drive wheel's in here. If we loosen this, open it up. There's the drive wheel down there. Wire goes through, top wheel, lock it back up, and adjust your, whoops, hard to do with one hand. Adjust your tension accordingly. And why can't I get this to go back on? Oh, no. A welder fail. I'm sorry I did that. It's a problem with having a two-handed job and trying to video. Put this back on and put your wheel back on. And start it back down, adjust your tension according to the wire that you have in there. Pretty simple. So anyway, that's pretty much the story on this machine. One thing I really like too is really heavy cable. They mentioned the instructions. Let me turn this off so we can hear. They mention in the instructions to not use extension cords. The key is not to use really long extension cords because you do get a voltage drop, and use heavy extension cords. 12-3s are the best. Run them as short as you can. And I have a dedicated 15 amp circuit. That's all I run on it is welders. One thing at a time on that circuit is all that runs, and you'll be fine. So enjoy your machine. Cheers. This is a good one.